Hi all, welcome to the session on lazy loaded module in Angular. So in this session we'll be seeing about what is a model, why we need a model, creating a model, uh, authentication model, and same model we will be trying eagerly loading the same module and lazily loading the module, and we will be seeing the benefits of each one. Okay, this is the plan for this session. Let me explain you the setup what I have. I have a Angular application already running. Okay, so this is my Angular application. So I have a ABC. If you give ABC pass, it will go inside. Second, start my node. So I have started my node server, and you will be able to see it this in my home page. It actually displays a list of employees. Okay, and in this session, what we are going to convert is this is my app module. This is my code base for my application. So in this application, we are going to be interested in creating an authentication model using the login component. Okay, this login component, if you go here and see, you'll be able to see inside components. You'll be able to see the login component. This is the component we will be trying to move into our authentication module, which we will be creating in some time. Okay, so this is what is shown here. The authentic module is what is shown here. So it makes use of forms, ng form, and all those ng models for displaying the username, password, and we use template model. We add template forms in Angular for implementing this. Okay, so this is about the setup. This code base I will be sharing you the GitHub, which I will be posting in the description, so you can easily download that. So let me go to my project. So slide. So this is about the setup. The next thing is, let's go move into the session. So what is a module and why we need module? Module is nothing but in Angular is you would have used a root model where there we have mentioned of ng module. So over the class, wherever you mention ng module, it becomes a module in Angular. So Angular apps are modular, and its own modular system is called ng modules. So this is about how to make a module. So why we need a module is uh, modules are something which brings together all the components. Okay, so the root module is something which brings together all the components. All the components. It is like a container which brings together all the components. Why we need to create the modules other than the root module is because if we want to divide our code in smaller applications, you may not need another module other than the root module, but in a very big applications where you have 100 components, it will be good to separate your code base by modules. Maybe if I have a employee module, I may put it in all the employee related components like add employees, employee list, delete employee, every employee related functionalities I can put it inside it. So the modules help you to divide your code base based on functionalities. So it will be easier for any person to read through, and it will also give you many benefits like lazily loading benefits. We will see it in the coming slides. Okay. And about creating a module. For creating a module, what you need to do, the first step is ng generate module authentication. Let me go ahead and create a module first. So let me add a terminal. So here I will say ng generate. Here for example, we are going to create a authentication module. For simplicity, we will add a authentication module. Inside that, I will put all the authentication related components. So for me, the authentication related component is the login component. So I will put it inside login component. Okay. Authentication. Sorry, this is a module. Mode DULE, and I will put it inside modules folder so that Angular will create it for me. I will say authentication. So this should create a module for me. Okay. So let me go here. So it should have created a module for me called authentication module, and it would have the Angular CLI would have added a ng module to make it a module. So common module is which has the common functionalities of module. So it also has imported that module for me. Angular CLI is imported for me. Okay, this is the blueprint of the module what the Angular CLI has created. Okay, so we are done with the first step of generating a model, creating module. Then we have to add in the necessary components to it. So my what I need is I need a logging component. Okay, this is the only thing I need. So I have moved the login component inside this module. Now I have to remove the references for components in that module, app module, because I have already brought the login component to this authentication module. I need to remove the import in app module.ts, else it will throw a error. So I can also show you that error. Mm-hmm. Component is being brought here. For seeing the error, you have to do this step. Okay, you have to import that Angular module, the module you have created, into this app module. Okay, because you have not told Angular about the module yet. So in no way it would have loaded the module. So let's try to import, tell Angular that about the module you have created. Now let's go. So now you are seeing, right, login component is part of two declarations, two modules. So you have to have that login component in only one, if one root module or in the authentication module. So let me remove that reference to the login component in the root module by removing the declarations of login component. Okay, so I have removed it. Now we are all set. We have created a component, we have done all the steps. now we should be able to see the and other thing you need to do is, as I told earlier, this login component makes use of ng models. So you have to import also the forms model. That's the error it is throwing there. Let me do that. So now we are getting the login component from the authentication module, not from the root module, but from the authentication module. So we have separated our code base. Okay, then let us proceed. That creation module is done for us, and we have made the login component come from the authentication module. So let's move to the next thing. Eagerly loaded module. What is eagerly loaded module? It is the module which is gets loaded whenever the user enters your application. Okay. So whenever the Angular gives you the first bundle, the our module is loaded into it. Okay. So what is the negative in this? Because if you take you have a bundle for employee, okay, employee, and even before the when the any user comes to your site, you are given also the module for employee, okay, but he may not have a proper username and password. So why you have to take so much time? Because everything takes time, right? So why have you have to take time to load that module also, which is, I don't know, maybe the username password, proper username password is not available with the user, so he will not be anyway be able to come to the home page. Why we have to waste time in given in loading that module? So this may be trivial in case of small application, but if you go to very big application where the modules will be very big, like MBs, it will take you will be able to save some time on the loading when the application starts up. So this is the basic example for eagerly loaded modules. So eagerly loaded modules you have to do for modules which are very necessary for login and homepage, which are very necessary for both login and as well as when the user goes inside. So this is about eagerly loaded module. So whatever we have done now is by default it is eagerly loaded module. Okay, we have done right this one. Eagerly loaded module, it becomes eagerly loaded module because we have imported that module. Since we have imported this module, we have imported this module, it, it becomes eagerly loaded. Okay, whenever you import put it in the import section of ng module root module, it becomes eagerly loaded. So this whatever we have done now, the authentication module is a eagerly loaded module. Okay, it comes up in the application startup. I can show you that. So let me go inside sources. If you go to the main bundle, okay, you will be able to see the login component. So this is our login component. It gets loaded here. Okay, here it made sense, but let me log in inside this. Okay, now this page, if I load it in another tab, so here if you go and see, here also you will be able to see that login component. So there is no reason why we need login component here, right? Because this is a home page. Why we need a login component? But since it is a eagerly loaded module, the it is put it is, we have put it in the imports of ng module. Angular will load that also. Anyway, it will load whether it is used or not. It will load this login component. Okay, understand? Mm. We can also check for authentication module. That will also be loaded. You see, authentication module is also loaded by Angular. You'll also see the code for that. So this is the authentication module. Okay, that will also be loaded by Angular. So this is about eagerly loaded module. So let's move on to lazily loaded module. So lazily loaded module is something which is loaded only on demand. Okay, which is only loaded on demand. So only when the user goes to that path, that module will be loaded. Else it will not be loaded. Okay. So let's convert whatever we created, right? Authenticate model, which is a eagerly loaded module, to a lazily loaded module. So only when the user goes inside login, I will load this module. Else, if he goes to the home page, I will not load this module. Let's do it in that way. For that, we have to add the proper routes in app module. Let's go ahead and do this. And we have to remove the imports. That's the main thing from app modules. Okay. So that we prevent it from loading it eagerly. Okay. Now I have removed the authenticate module. Let's remove the import also, the authenticate module import also. Now I have to change the way the login is loaded. Okay. I have to say that when the path is login, okay, you have to say load children for eagerly loaded modules. You have to say load children. Okay, I can just copy paste that whatever I mentioned there. It is just the path to the authentication module. See, I will show you where it is. It is present in modules, authentication, and authentic module. That's what I have had it here. And after that, the most important thing, you have to put a hash and then the module name. So here it is, authentication module. So I added that. Okay. So we have set up the routes now. Let me also remove this login which is not used anywhere. We'll remove this import as well. So I have removed the imports and I have made Angular module to load this authentication module only when the user enters goes for this login route. Okay. Let me go to my authentication module, and I also need to add a route there because when any user comes to the login module, you need to tell what you need to do, right? When it comes to this module, you need to specify when the user gives login what I need to do, what component I need to load. For that, I have to add a route here as well. So I can say authentication routes maybe. You have to add it similarly how you added it in the app modules. Okay. So path, I'm not interested to give any more path other than login. So I will give it as empty. So I will say what component it has to load. I'm saying login component. You can check that. Here. Okay. Then you have to import this by router module. You have to import this routes. You have to tell about this routes to this authentication module. So I will use make user author route module. Here you should not use for root. You have to use for child because it is a feature module. It is not a root module. So use for root and give authentication route. Okay, that's it. Now you have told Angular that whenever anybody comes to login alone because I have not given any path here. So whenever anyone comes to login, it will come to this route module, and this module have created a default route to point to login component. So it is supposed to load the login component now. Let me restart it. I think it will be better because I've added the routes. Not sure whether it will start. So once it loads, let's check whether it is working. Okay. So I think it has loaded now. So let's go to the login, whether it is coming eagerly. So it is coming eagerly. Okay. Now you see a great difference here. Now the module you have the authentication module is not coming inside the main bundle main.js. It is coming as a separate bundle, authentication bundle, and this has the login component and everything. Okay. See, this will have the login component. Login component will not be a part of the main bundle. So this bundle has the login component. So understand in eagerly loaded module, you have a separate bundle for and okay. So this has the code for login component. Okay. Now as we are in login, the authentication module will be loaded. So let me log in with ABC pass and try to log in. Now let's copy paste this URL in another tab. Now let us check whether that authentication module is coming or not. It should not be coming, right? Because home employee list has nothing to do with authentication module, right? So and the user has not given login here, so it should not be loaded. Let's check that. So you will see that authentication module is not loaded, and because of this we have saved some memory. Let me tell you that. So if you go here and see the main bundle, right? If you see the size of the main bundle, this comes around 63.5 KB, and the authentication module bundle, go and see, you load it, the login here, see, So let me load the login so to show you the size. So if you see the size of authentication bundle, it will be of 12.3 KB. So now in this page we have saved 12.3 KB, which is the size of the authentication module. Okay, because we have not loaded that authentic model, we have not loaded. So this may be a very trivial in smaller application, but when you go for very big applications, this is like a great saving. Okay, whenever you go for lazily loaded module. Hope you understood this concept. Okay, we have done all this, removed the references and added the needed routes both in app modules and in the authentication module. Okay, hope you understood. uh, lazily loaded module. So thank you for your time. For anyone has to help you, kindly subscribe to get my future videos. Thank you. Have a nice